Hi, I'm Lana,
Hi, I'm Sherri.
and this is Real Estate Tips with SNL. We are so excited today. We have a guest, and Sherri, let's introduce her.
Well, I'm happy to introduce, and very happy that you're here, Julie Millar. So that's Miller with an A for the Irish. I got that down. It's Home Staging by Julie. And I just feel as though you're going to bring something today that anybody who's not only selling or buying a house, but decorating, thinking, feng shui, all that other stuff, because we all want the opinion of somebody else when we decorate our homes. So now that I've kind of laid that out for you, why don't you start by telling us how you got into this business?
Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here. So I was working 9 to 5 at Simplex Grinnell, a company that was in Westminster and Gardner, when they were bought out and they started layoffs. So I survived till round 3 in the layoffs. And then while I was at home, it was a period where nobody was hiring and I was trying to figure out what to do. So I was watching all those home staging shows on Better Homes and Garden, HGTV. And it's like, I do that anyways for friends and family for free, and I enjoy it. So why not do it for others? So I took a class. It was a 3-day class in Auburn, and it was called stagedhomes.com. And it was 2 days of classroom and 1 day of actually going and staging a house. And I absolutely loved it. So then I had started doing that, and then I felt like I needed more education. So then I took another class, which was a 5-day, 40-hour class, which was much more involved with a lot more details and numbers and everything else. And it took off from there.
Are those classes geared towards like a specific thing, more about like an interior designer, or are they geared to like preparing a property for sale? Like,
it was all preparing the house for sale, because there's a difference. When you prepare a house for sale, you prepare it so that it's neutralized. It appears to a wider range of buyers. Whereas if you're decorating, it's your design, your color scheme, which it would not appeal to everyone.
Right, so you're trying to get the eye of the have multiple buyers versus a particular style of somebody living there.
Yes.
Nice. So is it like you're getting a license for this? Do you have to do CEUs?
No, I am accredited, and I also have certificates. So I am accredited home staging professional, and I have certificates in color expert, which means I can help you with color, just finding the right color for your home.
We have yellow today.
Yes.
That's thanks to you.
Yes, very bright. And so then I also have a certificate in 1-day redesign, which means I can go in 1 day, I can transform a room of your house. What that is mostly just taking furniture from other areas of your house and creating a fresh room without spending much money.
Do you want to come over?
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely calling her. So I actually got introduced to your work. It was a few years ago when I had, it was an older couple who was selling their house. And they had been in the house probably 50 years. And they were at the point now, I'm trying to think how many rooms there were, maybe 5 or 6 rooms in the house. And they were basically living in 2 of them. And the other rooms were kind of filled with collectibles from over the years and not hoarding. It wasn't that sort of thing. This was just more, like I said, somebody who's been in the house for 50 years and they were getting ready to sell, but they called you. And you were over there, gosh, it seemed like every day. And this was an older couple, getting around wasn't very easy for them. And you were packing things up. And I was thinking you were like, the guiding light that was coming through to, brighten their day for them.
I do remember the couple. They were very nice. When they got married, they went on their honeymoon, and while they were gone, their friends and family came and set up their house.
Oh, wow.
And it was the same items in this house. I think they might have changed the couch.
Yes.
The room was pink and blue, the master, and those are difficult colors to sell for a master bedroom. And they were just so fun. He met me at a fair 2 years prior to that. And I had all my flyers out, so he took one of my flyers. And then he told me, that when I was over there, he said, I met you at the fair, and that has been staying on my refrigerator for 2 years.
That's great.
That is great.
Because we knew we were going to be downsizing and moving, but
Yes.
I didn't know when. So I think you told them at first it was going to be $180,000 for the house. And then after I was there, then the price went up to $200,000. After we got everything out of there, we cleaned it up, and it was just immaculate. And they ended up with $220,000.
So I was going to actually, I think it was 230.
Oh, 230?
So,
Okay.
Yes. Yep. So look at that. You know,
So staging works.
Yeah. And it was definitely an older home, you know, and small, and you know, you did an amazing job.
Oh,
but I
thank you.
think it wasn't just what you did for the house, but what you did for the people, because the idea of getting their home ready and even getting their life ready was just something they weren't prepared emotionally to do. So the service that you provided was far more than just, you know, getting a house ready to list.
Right. No, thank you. It was their basement that was the really...
Yeah.
They had just been storing everything in their basement, and they had so many memories, and they knew they had to get rid of them. They couldn't keep it all.
Yeah.
So we worked through what they could keep, what they had to get rid of, and then they were fine with it. And then they called, I think his name was Leo, who was an antiques dealer or something.
Oh, okay.
And he ended up taking everything that they didn't get rid of. Some things he discarded, and other things he was able to sell. But they were very happy.
So you were mentioning something about she was packing up.
Oh, yeah.
So you actually boxed
Yes.
things. So you do that as
I
part
do.
of-
I
So
help people
It doesn't
pack and
sound
move.
like a stage thing, right? But obviously, this is overwhelming for people.
Oh yes, and I do downsizing. So that's what I do for the older people who they need to downsize or right size, as Jennifer Baker calls it. So yes, because it's very emotional to have to pack up your belongings, all your memories.
Right.
And if it's an elderly person going into a nursing or a facility, they know that it's the last place they're going. And that's very emotional. And when they can't take everything in their house, it's real difficult. And that's when they want to keep something, and their family members keep telling them, you don't need that, just get rid of it. But to them, there's this emotional connection to it. And that's where I come in, because I'm the middle person, and I can give them all kinds of suggestions of how he can keep his items, not physically keep it, whether he takes pictures of them. And then there was one woman who couldn't get rid of all her husband's sweaters after he passed away. So what she did was that we talked her into taking a couple of the sweaters and making pillows out of them and putting them around the house, and then then donating them to a shelter where she knows that sweater's going to be helping somebody keep warm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then a lot of times people have their wedding gowns. They're in the closet, and they're just turning yellow, but they can't get rid of it. So my suggestion is always to them is cut the sleeve or the neck and make a little shadow box out of it, because most of the time they still have their wedding invitations, their flowers. So cherish it, put it on the wall.
That's a great idea.
And or one of those those digital video cameras where it just rotates. Take pictures of it, put it on your desk, and you can constantly see it, because if it's packed away, you can't appreciate it. No. But when it's right there in front of you, it brings back memories.
I think this is pretty powerful. You just taught me something new about staging. Of course, I'm sure every stager has something different in their box of things to do. But what's interesting is you are actually helping people emotionally pack up, because there are people that have owned their homes 30 plus years, kids, maybe assisted living going forward or stuff. So now you've created not just their memories, but you've helped them with this process instead of that fear of letting go of everything.
Yes.
That's powerful.
And it's also for the family members because it's stressful for them trying to get their loved ones to part with things. And then there's a lot of conflict. So I just am the middle person.
I love this.
You could be the therapist.
Right.
The
I wouldn't go that
far. I do feel as though when we, in any capacity here, are going into somebody's home, you are taking on a responsibility of care. And sometimes there is an element in the back of your head that's thinking, this could be therapy or I could ruin it, So let's choose our words carefully and make it a smoother transition. Now I'm going to bounce over real quick because just recently Julie helped me with, not the most recent, but in between, with a house where my client was in Florida and, widowed and wanted to sell her home here, but wasn't going to get out here till like a week before closing. So we wanted to get it ready. And she did. Julie came over with boxes and packing up some personal items, gave us a list and some things that I went to her family and said, these are the things you need to remove for the pictures. And you even gave me a list. I brought in some towels and a blanket.
Wow.
And so we had very clear instructions on what, I loved the way that you broke it down for us. And it sold. And when she did show up, she says, oh, my things are packed. This is great, And it was very helpful.
I think for me, oftentimes, I'm just going to share what I'm feeling, and maybe consumers generally feel this, that if you get a stager, it's costly. It's going to be so much money. They're going to have me like changing color, going to buy something, or I have to rent it to make it like that. And it's not the case, it sounds like, with you.
No, it isn't. And when I work with clients and I tell them, you should update your sofa, I always give them suggestions such as if it's an older sofa, then go to Amazon and just get a cover.
Oh, yeah.
Go to your friends and family, and that's what I always stress. Go to your friends and family first. Make a list of things that you need and, see if you can't borrow items for them. If you got an older kitchen set, swap out the kitchen set with your children because they probably have a newer set. And it's not as difficult, for the kids to come and switch it.
Do you find that taking away things is more important than changing the room around? Because I know oftentimes people say, oh, are you going to get a stager and are they just going to move my furniture? Isn't it more about taking away stuff versus using everything that's in the room?
Less is more.
That's what I figured.
Definitely. And people are buying square footage. And when you have a lot of items in the room, they can't see certain things. And for some reason, a lot of people tend to put their chairs up against the fireplace. When you get a beautiful focal point like a fireplace, and they say there's no place else to put the chair, then just remove it. It's nice to have a couple of seating areas instead of one room with just large furniture. It's more personal. And people can relate to that better because you're not yelling across the room, number one.
Right.
And it's comfortable.
What's your take on vacant homes? Now, I know you're going to bring something up, Sherri.
Jump right in.
But I wanted, a lot of times people say it's harder to sell a vacant house than with stuff in it. And what's your take on that? What do you feel?
I always feel as though you need to stage a vacant home. People don't have the vision. The first vacant home, or she was moving out, and this is my first aha moment, is that she had a pink bathroom, and I had to stage that. And so my thought was I'd brought in a blue shower curtain with these little pink birds on it, and then I staged the rest of the bathroom with blue. And then she said to me, I never thought about that. I hated the pink. And then it was like, people don't have the vision that I had.
Right.
And it was just something simple that it was just automatic for me to do.
So you did a massive project for Miss Queen of New Construction over here.
Again.
So tell me what you did over there, because that was gorgeous. Well, it is gorgeous. It's still in the process, so it's gorgeous.
It was a beautiful home, and it was a little bit different of a setup, whereas the living room wasn't big, but it wasn't small. So we took the furniture and we had to move it closer together. And Sherri said that it was awkward and people couldn't understand where to put the furniture.
Right. I think it was one of the bedrooms upstairs that the builder had brought the laundry room upstairs, so it kind of like took a chunk of the bedroom by doing this. So the room itself was oversized. So truthfully, that chunk that's missing for this laundry room wasn't really going to mess up the ability to furnish your bedroom.
But you can't see it.
People walk in and we're just trying to figure it out. And you did an amazing job. And you've got a queen size bed in there. You got a couple of nightstands. You got some toys, and it flows perfectly now. And the transformation was absolutely night and day. The builder loves it. I know we're going to be using you again. And, obviously the pictures look great, but it's my model home. So I'm doing open houses out of there every weekend. And the first weekend after the photos from the staged, home was taken, my open house was packed. What a difference when people could see it furnished. And I agree. We're all visual, and some people are better with the imagination part of the brain, and other people just need to see it.
Sometimes if you have just one room, like if you have a table in a room, but you don't have anything else, people can now visually see that table, the size-wise, and they can see it in another room, right? But when you have absolutely nothing, that is challenging. But sometimes for me, I feel that having it completely vacant does work, because it was probably not in the best presence the way it was before, right? So it shows better than when it had.
Yes, a lot of people like to see. My husband says he can see more when it's vacant.
Yeah.
I want to see something in there. Yeah. For example, that bedroom, people would want to know, would my queen bed fit there? Or would I have to put a twin in there? Well, we put the queen in there, and like she said, we had the end tables with lamps, and we even had a chair in there.
Yeah, and a little tent.
Yes, and a little play area.
And there's even little toys. So I might be playing with them. I don't know.
And you have to make people see what the room can be.
Right.
So it's just those little things like the toys, or a few little things on the desk that make people feel comfortable. And people buy on emotion. Yeah. And once they get that emotion that they feel, then they want to make an offer.
So you should have seen Julie on. So we had staging day. And she's got the U-Haul truck, and she's backing that thing into the driveway.
Are you doing this by yourself, or somebody helping you?
No, I have a team. I have two assistants, but right now only one is assisting me, and then I have two guys that help with the moving. And the driveway was muddy, so I think I had to do a 50-point turn.
Well, the driveway, it was kind of a misty, it wasn't the best weather day, and the driveway had not been paved yet. Yeah. So there had been a dumpster there prior for construction that left kind of grooves and stuff. But she's pulling. In fact, it's funny because I think the guys that were there to help you were like, "Do you want my help?" And she's doing it.
No, she's like, no.
And then it was like so fast. I mean, I think I pulled you aside to talk to you briefly, and I turned around and all this stuff was already unloaded. And one of the people that was helping you, your assistant, I don't know, you told me that, was it a marathon? Is she a...
I won't mention it. She was the woman who helps me is 71 years old, and she can move sofas and everything else. And she was a former bodybuilder. Once I heard about that, I mean, she can...
Dear Lord.
So 71 years old, putting me to shame as I'm just watching.
Wow.
Sorry, Cindy.
Wow. No, it was so impressive. And I mean, right there with these two guys that are unloading that truck, and it was fast. It was efficient. And it's not just, I mean, it was furniture, but it's, we had a little wine station and the cake that you put on the island. I had somebody who wanted to know if they could have a piece of that cake.
It was styrofoam.
I think it was like, what is it made of? And I think I had said petroleum or something.
That's styrofoam.
Yeah. But,
and as long as they don't take the wine, the cheese and the grapes, they're all for stage. Yes.
Oh, that's funny.
But I have cookies that many times people pick up thinking they're, for the, for the the buyers who walk in, and the
Yeah.
realtors always tell me, everybody tries your
Everybody
cookies.
tries them. Try it.
Well, we had that other house in Westminster on Woods.
That was beautiful.
That was absolutely gorgeous. And they had this big room above the garage that they kind of wanted to turn it into like a game room or movies. So she had a big thing of popcorn in there. Now that was real popcorn because I could smell it.
And that's what it is. It's the smell of the popcorn,
Yeah.
and that's why I purchase it the morning I'm staging, so that aroma stays in. So when you walk in, you feel comfortable. You
Yeah.
feel like you can sit down and
Yeah.
watch a movie.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing with staging. You have to make them feel comfortable and that they can see themselves living there. And also, I had the 3 dishes of candy.
Oh, those were gone.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, people were eating that. I'm like, I don't think I'd eat the popcorn after it's been there a couple weeks. But
And one thing that I do tell people to do when I stage and when I stage vacant homes is wherever they enter, I always tell them to put a bowl of chocolate Hershey Kisses. Because when you see Kisses and you enter, you smile.
oh,
And then they have
I love that trick.
They have that happy feeling as they're walking through the house, whereas when they walk into the house, they form an opinion within the first 5 to 7 seconds. And if they have to walk and step over things, then that negative feeling is in their head as they're walking through the house. But you give them something to smile at the entryway, they're happy.
I like that.
And
Chocolate makes me smile.
I wouldn't recommend anything like M&Ms or something like that. It has to be individually wrapped because otherwise you get them touching your furniture with sticky hands.
Yeah.
So Kisses are always
Great
my go-to.
idea. So with all this, what's the process if somebody's interested in doing some sort of staging? Because obviously you have a little bit of a la carte going on. What do they do? How do you meet with them? What's the process? What's the length of time? And what's the cost?
So the first thing I do when somebody wants to stage, when they're getting ready to move, the realtor or themselves call me for consultation. So the consultation is either I can do a walk and talk where I walk and talk to them about it, or then I can do a walk and talk with the report. So when we do the walk and talk, we go through every room and we talk about everything that needs to be addressed.
Yep.
And we try not to use the word clutter. It's and I forgot the term again. It's
Insulting.
non-income producing items. So it's not clutter. That's
Okay.
a non-income producing item.
Got it.
So get your junk out.
Yes, we always try to start with the positive. Oh, this is beautiful. You find something that really
Sure.
works, and then they're happy, and then they know. And I always tell them, I'm not hurting your feelings, but these are just proven items that are going to help you sell your home faster.
Yeah, sure.
And then it could just be a lot of cleaning and decluttering. That's number one. Always clean and declutter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep your counters clean. People don't want to see your appliances. So I tell people, put a bowl of fruit, some flowers, and always go to Pinterest. And you can just, enter counter decor. And it will give you ideas, and just use what you have within the house. And I tell them, you have to have your stove, your refrigerator, and your dishwasher clean. If you were buying a car, you'd check underneath the hood. So why wouldn't you check everything else when you're buying it? So if somebody opens a stove and it's dirty, the first thing they're going to think is, I have to cook my dinner in there. Or the bathtub, if it's dirty, they're going to say, I have to bathe in there. And then once they get that negative thought, especially if it's the first in the kitchen, then it carries throughout the whole house.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to have positive thoughts in their head. So if you have a beautifully staged kitchen, then they carry that into the other rooms. So quick items, the knobs on your cabinets, just updating those will make a big impression. And also if you can afford to update the faucets, because they have a lot of nice faucets out there that are really inexpensive. And just simply updating that will make a big difference in your kitchen.
So what do you charge, or is there a cost for a consultation?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
So my consultation is $225, and it can go anywhere from 1 hour to 3 hours.
Oh.
And other stages, once it hits a certain price point, then they do increase more. So everybody is different. And it just depends on the size of the house and how long it takes. And if it is a really bad house and you're going to be there for 4 or 5 hours, then yes, the price is going to increase.
Okay. So now, when we were talking about like downsizing, packing, you're charging an hourly rate for those services.
Yes, I
correct?
work in 2-hour increments. You can either 2 hours or 4 hours.
Oh.
So, and a lot of people can't work more than 4 hours, especially elderly people. They get tired quickly, they get frustrated, and it's emotionally draining. So a lot of times it's just the 2 hours.
Okay.
So that would be, for me, that's $150 for 2 hours. And
That's not bad.
And I work fast because it's your money, and I'm making sure you get the most of your money. And I will hold up, keep it, or get rid of it. And you have to make the decisions quickly. And if you pause, then we kind of put it aside and go back to it. But
Yeah, you
time
don't
is
sit on
money.
it,
No,
right.
time is
So
money.
it's keep it or get rid of it. I would say keep it, donate it,
Yes.
throw it away.
Right.
But then I decided that this donation pile was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then I never donated anything, and I ended up throwing it away.
Now, a lot of times I will take it. Once we decide it's going to be donated, I will donate it. I will drop it off at Salvation Army or wherever. So I had one woman, and we did her house, and I put it in the back to take it to Salvation Army, and then I did not get a chance to do it that day. The next day, I ended up in Maine doing a consultation, and I'm coming back, heading towards Salvation Army, and she calls me up, and she says, I had this favorite pair of green sweatpants that I threw away, but I'm thinking about it, and I said, okay, I did not go to the Salvation Army yet. I will take it out before I go.
Oh my goodness.
And otherwise it goes, and if you leave it with people and have them take it,
Yeah.
then it doesn't get there, or they start going through it and saying, I
course.
want this back.
Next thing you know, the house is full again.
Exactly.
Are you helping them with going through their closet with clothes? I mean, you mentioned this.
That's one of my favorite things to do is closet organizing. So what I have them do is take everything out.
Yeah.
And then we only put back what you wear. We'll go by piece. And when you put clothes back, you hang the clothes, the hanger backwards. And then when you wash it and wear it, hang the clothes the correct way. So that after 4 to 6 months, anything that has the coat hanger that's still backwards, ask yourself, why haven't I worn it? Does it fit? And
I would be in the 4-hour time frame just in my closet with you, because what I'm guilty of is, I find myself wearing the same things over and over and over again, but I keep all this extra just in case stuff.
So with that, most people only wear 20% of their clothing. So what you do is halfway through when you take your clothes and you wash them, you put them in the front. So when you halfway through the season, if you take the items at the back of your closet and put them to the front, you're rotating, and it's like you got another whole new wardrobe for the season.
Let's give it a try, Sherri.
I know.
Let's do those hangers.
When my daughter moved out, I went from the walk-in closet and went into her room and took that closet too, because I needed to have it seasonal. So I had one season there and one season here.
Must be nice
and
to
all
have that many clothes.
So yeah, but I don't wear them. Well, then I have the different sizes. That's a whole other thing. Someday I'll fit in this again.
That is where you have to take those clothes, box them up, and put them away. And in 6 months, you don't get into that size. Then donate it, because number one, the styles are all going to have changed, and two, every time you open that closet and you see that something that you loved that you still can't get into, it's going to cause stress and you're going to be depressed. So if you don't see it, if it's put away, and if you do get back into that size, then you can pull it out. Otherwise, get rid of it, and it'll give you a chance to go shopping.
What do they talk about? The Marie Kondo. If it doesn't bring you joy,
get rid of it.
Get rid of it.
That must be why I don't have many clothes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm getting joy from this, but I'm not wearing it.
Let somebody else get some joy out of it.
All right. So if I'm thinking of selling my home, how soon should I contact you?
Okay, as soon as you know you're going to be selling your home, you contact a stager. They're going to do a consultation, and they're going to give you a list of items that you need to take care of. if you call a week before you're going to put the house on the market, you have all these items that you have to do that you won't have time for. If you have 2 or 3 weeks, you can prioritize them
good.
and then make sure you get things done. And I tell people, make a list of what needs to be done and have your friends and family come over and say, you work on this room and you can paint and do that. You can work on this room and divide up the chores and then have a pizza party after, to say thank you to everybody. And that way everything gets done and you have assigned the correct person, the person who can paint or the person who can fix the plumbing. And you're not trying to do everything yourself the last minute. And it's going to be rushed and you're not going to be able to complete everything.
Now, do you have like a warehouse or something with all
I do.
this?
I have a warehouse that's about 1,200 square feet.
Oh,
so,
wow.
It has furniture for all kinds of homes. I did an 1890 farmhouse for Althea last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I had furniture that fit that style.
Oh, cool.
And then the house that I did with you is farmhouse modern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I did one in Worcester that was ultra modern.
Yeah.
So you have to have furniture that fits. And also you have to keep switching your furniture up because you want to keep your furniture at least 5 years, no longer than 5 years current.
Okay.
The trends change. And if it's a traditional or a farmhouse, that's one thing. But if it's a modern house, you don't want to be putting furniture in there that's 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. So is it sometimes just, bringing in, a plant or a blanket or a pillow or, or something like that?
Punch
just
color.
yeah.
Yes. For occupieds, I don't bring in soft goods. I can give them a list they can borrow.
Soft goods?
Soft goods, things like bedding, pillows, throws, rugs.
Okay.
Because if they have a dog, if they have kids, then they're going to be using those items.
Right.
So that's when I have them go out and purchase those items.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a dog and the dog has fleas and it gets in the rug, I bring that rug back to my unit. If I bring it into another house not knowing, and I then infest my whole storage unit in somebody else's, and that can bring a lawsuit.
Well, no, I don't want that other person's dog fleas. in my house.
I did have somebody who she was living there and she had one of my rugs and she spilled wine on it. And she tried cleaning it up, but she couldn't.
It would
she
be white
had
wine.
moved.
It was me. You wouldn't
It was
even
red
know.
wine. It was red wine. And my assistant, she was an intern. She tried several different things. She went on and Googled it, trying to get red stain out, tried different things. I said, okay, it's a beautiful rug. It costs a lot of money. We'll just use it underneath the sofa. So we wrapped it up, we rolled it up, put it away. And then about 4 months later, when we wanted to use it again, we pulled it out and the stain had disappeared. It was a combination of everything that she had tried.
And magic.
Vinegar.
And magic.
Vinegar, baking soda, and I don't know what other concoctions she tried. But it just set long enough and it cleaned.
It turned wine into water.
But it does say in my contract that any damage that you'll have to, you'll be responsible for. But she had already moved.
Yeah.
And
it is what it is.
yes,
Yeah.
so for something like that, I was not going to go back on. But
So I learned a lot today. I got a couple new ideas and some thoughts to even share with sellers. I think a lot of times if they ask me a question about it, I haven't got to that point that someone needed it, but it gave me a lot of information that it's an option, right? Mm-hmm. Another option and something that maybe can definitely help with.
Well, statistically.
Oh, right.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, I get you.
But statistically, homes sell for more that have been professionally staged.
Yep,
correct.
You know what those percentages are roughly, or
I think it's 80% of people who stage sell their houses faster, and they get between 5 and 10% more.
nice.
Very
in
nice.
the asking price.
Yeah.
What's the color trend right now?
The color trend is beige. Gray has been around forever.
Forever.
It's slowly going out, but a lot of people still do like the gray. But it's the neutrals, it's the creams and the beiges. They're all coming back. Greens and blue are also popular to stage with and to live with. And the neutral colors is like it's bringing nature in. Everybody likes nature. It's calming.
calming. I was
People
gonna
can
say.
envision themselves living there. It's stress. It's less stress.
It's beachy.
Yeah.
I
It's
like
lakeside.
beachy. I like beachy.
So I always tell people bring nature in, whether it's with plants, artwork, flowers, anything that it makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah. Brings you joy.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes. No. Well, thank you, Julie.
Yes.
This is really helpful. Now, so if somebody's looking for you, how do they find you?
They can check out my website. It's homestagingbyjulie.com. I am on Facebook at homestagingbyjulie.com. And also my email is julie@homestagingbyjulie.com.
Okay.
Love that.
So homestagingbyjulie.com.
Yes, and I serve Central Massachusetts and also Southern New Hampshire.
Oh, great. But you're going to be a fixture in my future listings
Oh, thank
because
you.
I'm seriously very impressed, and it's more than one service that you're providing, which I think is huge. And like you said, Lana, we learned something today, not recognizing that was something that you contact a home stager for. And I think that it's going to bring incredible value to our industry and helping people enrich their lives. So.
And you don't have to be moving to contact a stager.
Right,
If you just
true.
want a room, redesigned, you can, just for an afternoon, you can call and have them come in. And it's
Party
just,
prep? Party prep? Can we
No.
call you for party prep?
No, you can call me for photo prep, though. I do go in when people are getting ready to have their photos taken. I will go in a couple of hours before the photographer gets there and do some quick staging.
Oh, well, you had holiday.
Yes.
Stuff,
So
so-
I love to shop. I will shop for your home. I will shop for you at the holidays. You give me a list, and I come up with ideas, and I certainly will shop. It saves you money and time, because when you go in to buy one gift, you come out with maybe that one gift, but you come out with two for yourself. So it saves you money.
Well, that part I don't mind. But
And also, you have to struggle with finding a parking spot and
Yeah.
fighting the crowd. I don't mind that.
yeah.
So holiday shopping.
Well, great. Again, thank you so much for coming today. Definitely very, very helpful. And for everyone out there, if you want to find Lana and I, you can do so at Coldwell Banker in Leominster. And we do hope that you found this helpful. And please be sure to subscribe and share.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. This was fun.
Yay.